No one will click on that one.
No one will click. What was the folder again? Mental schlong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. We're now sharing pictures, everybody.
We're also recording. Welcome to our podcast. Jeff's still fiddling with his wires.
We'll only take a
Push
second here.
record too fast.
I wanted to get the mental schlong.
But he was on time. So
He was, and he wasn't sure he was going to. So there.
yeah, it's awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Otherwise, we were going to have to buy a subscription to Zoom.
No way.
No way. Don't do that.
Have one.
All right. Are we ready?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it's in the
Welcome
chat.
to. Yes, we'll get there. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCC or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
I'm mental, and he's a fifth host. Just have him say it.
Yeah, it's Eric.
There we go.
Hi.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming back and listening to an episode of our podcast. No, not like in your body or in your butt. It's episode 212. The Ferrari 212 Inter was an evolution of the 166 and 195 Grand Touring models that debuted in 1951. The creation involves several coach builders, but for the first time, a new Italian coach builder, Pina Farina. Well-known and established, Farina was arrogant as Enzo. As a result, neither would request business from the other. A mutual meeting halfway between Maranello and Turin was negotiated, and the first Ferrari to be bodied by Pina Farina was the 212 Inter Cabriolet, chassis number 0177E. That is really detailed information that nobody needed to know. But if you're into that kind of thing or Italian levels of arrogance, grab your E1R bingo card. Remember, if you keep getting the same thing, click help, new card.
You can do it many times.
You can do it many times. It reshuffles. Sorry, they want us to pay for a paid version. And no, we're not doing it. But we are doing stuff in the garage. Why don't we just start with Chris? Because he's probably the one most likely to actually have touched a vehicle.
Yeah, several. Mazda has its new shifter in, and it works. Actually, we get all
Whoa.
6 forward gears and reverse again. That's nice. And actually, the clutch works, and all those things that are nice to have working work. I only had to take it out twice. Anyway, we also replaced the failed circuit breaker with that led to the test drives in the dark with no lights as they would spontaneously just all go off. Yeah, that's replaced with a fuse because I figured that's more simple. It's not when it breaks, it breaks, and then I just put another one in. It doesn't have moving parts.
This was the circuit breaker with the little flippy switch, right?
Yeah, well,
the
I had
same
two of
one
them
we
in the
have on the
car.
Z, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, they both have 2 of them in. This is the little 100 amp one up in the front. It was not tripping well. Like if you push the button, it wouldn't do anything. And that anyway,
Yeah, it got soft.
Yeah, it did. So it has a fuse now. That's better. So that's race ready to go on the trailer. Corvette has a new left front wheel bearing, new e-brake cables, a new headliner so it doesn't droop on your head actively while you're driving the car or flap in the breeze as you're driving, because that's 80s GM-tastic. But that's a set, and the power antenna even works again. It replaced the mast and the coil so that I have a well-functioning power antenna. Somewhere in the prior ownership history, someone had repaired that antenna, and when they put the wires back together, they just twisted them back together and wrapped them with duct tape.
So
Only
did
the
you have
finest
to
work.
Did you have to replace the mast, or you just rewired it?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Did you
Because-
replace the whole assembly, or did you just get like the wire, like the fish tape that you stuck
I
in
just
and
got
let it
the
suck
wire because this is a GM Delco antenna that they put in everything for about 10 years. So I bought the replacement mast and cord for like $18 on Amazon. So I'd take the old one out, drill a couple rivets, take it apart, put a new
Yeah,
one
yeah.
in. It's done. It really
Which
was
is way
quite
better
simple.
than that in the windshield one they were doing for so many years.
Yeah, well, that one doesn't fail to go up, and then once the cord breaks, the motor just runs and 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 runs. So you
Yeah.
either have to cut the wires or pull the fuse. And when you pull the fuse, it shuts off the radio and all the courtesy lights and a bunch of other things. GM. Anyway.
Darkness.
So now I can listen to back the Delco Bose stereo. I can listen to Poison out of the 3 remaining speakers, and it will be okay. Yeah,
I will be bringing you some cassettes that we got as a bribe.
Sweet,
Yeah.
excellent.
Are they anything good?
Actually, yeah.
No.
No. We got Chicago and Rod Stewart and some of the greatest hits from 1960s. Is that?
I do still have the cassette holder square thing that was in the center console. When I
You
got, I'm gonna have to
cleaned
go
it?
get that out of the box and
Yeah,
put
yeah,
that
yeah.
back in the center console to have my cassettes. Great.
I
Lastly,
was going to dispute Rod Stewart as being good, but I think it's perfect Corvette music, actually.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, it is.
agreed.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Lastly, did an oil change and a heavy duty cleanup of the Suburban to prep for the long tow for New Hampshire. So even washed it. The truck doesn't get that very often.
That
That's why,
happens
you
when
get
you're
that's why you get the GM tan color that every GMT
It's
800
wonderful.
is, because it doesn't matter. if you
Never
cleaned it.
need to wash it.
nope,
Yes.
don't need to wash it.
Chrissy, go ahead. You're next.
Okay. I packed most of my paddock stuff for the race. We're doing pretty well with that. It's all staged, all the water staged. We're pretty much ready to go with that. We have some more stuff to make, but we did make our wort burgers and chili. They went right into the freezer, so they are not going to be old. Don't worry about that. Yes.
Just and not to question you, this is next weekend. It's not like this weekend, is it?
Right. It's correct.
Okay. All right.
We were-
It's like early.
I know.
Mental
car is
furiously
ready.
checking this flight reservation. Yeah.
Truck is cleaned. The wort burgers are made. This is
Yeah.
insane.
I know. And that's why
You've now thrown the equation so far to balance. Jeff will not leave for New Hampshire until Saturday morning.
I hope he leaves before then. But
And I need
anyway,
a place
yeah.
to sleep. Yeah.
That'd be nice. I have slept on the tables in the garage because that's the time that he went
Jeff
to
is so
Pennsylvania.
late. Yeah.
Oh, it was so late. I was like, I'm out. I'm going to bed. And I helped clean the truck. So I did all the inside while Chris was doing the oil change in the outside. And we're pretty much ready to race. So got a couple things to make this week, but we're good other than that. So all good around here. Mental, what are you up to?
So before the show started, we were talking about my podcast. After contacting 4 interior drywall contractors, one got back to us with super estimate. So this morning, Home Depot dropped off the first shipment of sheetrock that after this podcast, I'll be bringing inside, and we'll be hanging that this weekend.
May I suggest a drywall carrier? It's a little handle thing you put under the sheets and it makes it much, much, much easier to carry.
I should look at, because I'm going back to my pre-Air Force days of just hauling them up 4 flights of stairs. I
think it
did
was pretty
buy.
cheap too, no?
Yeah,
I
it was.
did buy the Harbor Freight drywall jack.
Yeah. Harbor
So
the
that-
freight, yo.
So that got assembled. Jim and Matt came in for 2 different conventions that are in Vegas this week from Sorry for Party. I missed Dean and Jackie, and they were just here hanging out and doing stuff. And I am just in for Gingerman. We'll be talking more about that, but it's time to play Guess the Rental.
Whoa, whoa.
Yay, America's favorite quiz show.
Seriously, I wouldn't go that far, but okay.
So I will give you the hint in the travel document that Kim always puts together. Hers was listed as the goat. Mine was listed as the hamster.
I feel like anybody watch Wheel of Fortune lately?
We don't have television.
They give them like the first 4 like R, S, T, L, N, and E like is already selected, and they just
Well,
flip that and they make it go right. Go ahead, Eric.
I like that you're like, have you watched it recently when those are the letters that have literally been in the final part my
What,
entire life?
70s?
Yeah.
I don't know when it started, but
But it used to be you
Yes.
had to pick those. Now they
Yeah,
just
now
give
they
them
just
to
give
you.
them to
That's
you.
exactly-
No, no,
I don't know.
no,
No. They've always showed up. You pick all the rest of them.
Yeah.
And then-
Absolutely.
This is
and then
only the
there's-
final game, mind you.
Correct. And there's
Yeah.
always like a Q and a Z, and you get
Yeah.
absolutely hosed by it. Yeah.
So
No.
I just feel like we should already just automatically shake your head if it was a Rogue, a Journey.
It was not.
Or
Yeah, that's
Cobalt.
valid. It was.
Yeah.
It was none of
Malibu.
the. It was none of the usual suspects.
Okay, got it. That's what I want to
Okay,
know. I
okay,
just wanna
that
say,
works.
Is it a usual suspect?
But it's a hamster. Okay. Is it Korean?
No.
Is it Japanese?
Yes.
Was it an SUV?
No.
Buzz in.
Before you guess,
Tercel.
I'll say before you guess.
No.
I've had Tercel since like 1998.
Last
Yeah.
Tercel was made 25 years ago.
I meant Corolla. Why I said Terrell, I have no idea. The
Wait,
new
what's a
Corolla.
Oh, what's
is
a
supposed to be
Terrell?
fantastic.
You know,
Tercel. Sorry.
rental car shortage has really gotten bad if you're getting a Tercel.
Which honestly, I feel like I would actually be kind of excited about it. Be like, holy crap, where did you get this? My daughter.
You're good. I like that one.
And here's the worst
Oh.
part. Jeff actually got it right. It was the Corolla.
Yeah.
Oh.
God awful.
I was like, wait, you got it yourself?
God awful CVT transmission, just like everybody else. But the interior, really nice. Radar guided cruise control that was pretty effective, and the lane keeping assist that would actually almost it would correct. A couple times I wanted to see how bad it would let it go. And of course, not a smart move in Chicago traffic because like the roads are just
Good call.
terrible and
Good
a lot of the lines kind of disappear. But I was genuinely impressed with that Corolla. I got something like 36 miles per gallon all the way there. It was comfortable. It was a really nice stress-free drive. I of course, no one who listens to the show and no one who watches the show is going to buy a Corolla, but invariably when someone in your office comes in and goes, what should I buy for my kid who's going to college? Because the Civic has gotten bloated and expensive. The Corolla is still cheap and has like all the safety features you want. That's your recommendation for the my kid's going to college. I love how Vicky scrunches down like she thinks that
She's really tall.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
So Corolla, one of the few hatchback sticks you can still get.
Yep.
And I hear
this
they're
one,
excellent.
this was the 4-door base model, but
Rental car spec. Yes.
right, it was, but good stereo and great highway car actually.
I had one as a rental a month or so ago when I had to drive from Norfolk to the Outer Banks. And yeah, the transmission's terrible, but the motor's great. So with the stick, I bet it's a hell of a lot of fun actually. And it's not heavy. It doesn't feel bloated.
No.
Yeah, I would gladly test a hatchback with a stick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening,
Excellent.
Toyota, we're going to PRI. We're on the hunt for a press car.
Yep.
That's where Jeff's going to add the sparkle to my smile. Ding.
That's right.
Yeah, the downside is that like 30% of the manual Corollas are in the press fleet because nobody's actually buying them. But
That's a shame. I hear they're excellent.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Who's next? Is that me?
No, they'll be collector's cars in 10 years.
Yes, Jeff. What are you working on?
I
Not
was
your
gonna
manual
say-
Corolla.
No, not my manual Corolla. So tire rack. I don't know if I have said this on the podcast. I never remember what I say on the podcast and what I haven't, but the wife's 2015 Subaru Forester has developed the loudest tire on the planet. And I have moved it from axle to axle and left to right. So we're pretty sure we know what tire it is. And it is a humming or a thrumming like you wouldn't believe. And since it moves with the tire, we're pretty sure it's not a wheel bearing. And I bought this before COVID. So it's like a 2-year-old tire with like almost 2 years old with no like miles on it. And Tire Rack has come through with a warranty. It's not 100% warranted because it's we're getting close to the 2 years. And the price of the tire has gone up, so I'm only warranted for the price I bought, not the price, whatever. But whatever. And so this is where the customer service comes in. I of course ordered it to be picked up in Newark, Delaware, because it's like 40 minutes from here, and it's a great experience to just go there and pick it up right at the spot. And I placed my order and immediately got an email that said, "Hey, I just called your phone number. You didn't pick up. I have a question for you. Please call me." It was back ordered for 10 days about, and the customer service rep was totally like, "It said 10 days. It might be 30. can I ship it from Atlanta? It's going to cost you 10 more bucks versus the shipping versus not shipping, but it'll be at your door in 3 days. And the dogs barked right before he pushed the record button. Tire Rack, whoever delivered for Tire Rack, literally delivered at 8:00 this evening. That place is a miracle. No idea how they got it here so quickly. Tire Rack is the bomb.
That's legit. Hashtag
yeah.
they should totally sponsor us.
Yeah. So we'll see if it actually fixes the problem. The noise is incredible. It just gets, my wife is like, it's louder. It's louder. It's louder. I'm like, it's not louder. We had a funeral today that I went to. Holy cow. It's so loud. It's like drowning out the radio. So, but anyway,
Eric, you're an educated guy. What's the story about the house that's falling down over the couple, and they bring the architect in, and they're highly sensitive to all noise and sound because the house is cursed? I want to say it was a Poe novel, but
it's not the Cask of Amontillado, is it?
no. That's where he locks the guy in the
That's where he
basement.
bricks the
Not
guy
Telltale
in.
Heart.
Yeah.
no, it's not Telltale Heart. That's where he kills the guy and puts it on
Yeah.
the
Wait,
floor.
this is
Anyway,
not
yeah.
Mental tells a story that goes nowhere.
Oh, it's all right.
Mental tells about a story and it goes
It
nowhere.
goes nowhere. Yeah. I do have a shout out to the listeners. I did attend a funeral today for my aunt. It was fantastic. We all wore Hawaiian shirts and told fantastic stories because she was a fantastic storyteller. And it was one of those great times when you just like literally like laugh all the time, celebrating the life. And you can never fact check a story because just like Mental, it might start in a fact, but it's going to go left immediately.
10%. That's all you need.
10%. That's all you need. Fantastic stories about like driving or docking a ferry boat, all these different stories. My aunt always swore that in the late 50s, early 60s, she had a Mercury Medalist. She always called it the Mercury Medalist. I could not find the history of anything on that car. I don't know if it was a submodel or maybe a trim option or whatever. If anyone out there in the sound of my voice can tell me what the frick a Mercury Medalist is.
The 1956 Mercury Medalist. By the way, I literally just typed this into Google.
Yeah, me too. There it is.
Would you like me to share my screen?
Eric
Share
is
the
getting a
screen.
book. Hold on, Eric's
Hold on,
getting a
Eric's got a book out.
Eric busted out the book. He just reached behind him and grabbed one of his obscure American card books.
While Eric is flipping through the book, share that screen. Mental.
Would you like me to read from the book?
What book is it?
A dramatic read.
Go ahead, a
please.
dramatic read of the Mercury Medalist.
All right. 1956 Mercury. The new Medalist was Mercury's low-priced car. It was introduced in mid-year. The Medalist featured a more frugal use of side chrome and lacked the front bumper guards found on the more expensive series. Like all 1956 Mercs, has a big M medallion on the front of the hood and the word Mercury spelled out in block letters on the center horizontal grille. There you go.
It is.
And there it is.
312 V8. She claimed it was the fastest thing in town, and she smoked all of her friends who had bigger cars and more luxury cars and whatever.
Mercury was known as the fast division of Ford at the time. It's completely within the bounds of reason.
Yeah, there we go. Mercury Medalist. Who knew?
You learned something today. Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's
So,
pretty
okay.
cool.
Everybody
So,
out there
your
in
aunt was-
podcast land, don't bother emailing me. We already know.
Your aunt was kind of a badass, though. That's cool.
She was. So anyway, yeah. Tip one out. That's what I did. Mental, have you already told us what you did, right?
I
Guess the rest-
did.
So I guess we're up to Eric. Eric. what are you working on?
Yeah, man. Well, the schedule's out. We'll talk about that. That's
Whoa.
been
Oh, sorry. I got excited.
that's been my
we're all
last
pretty excited. Yeah.
several weeks. What else is going on in my life? Sorting media from Gingerman. We'll talk about that as well. Mental took some of the most disturbing photos I've ever seen in Lemons. That was part of the weekend.
And that's a weekend Randy Bish was physically there.
That's true.
Well,
That is
any
true.
picture of Randy Bish is slightly disturbing. So
We'll talk about that.
What else? I'm in the process of attempting to purchase a house, which if anybody has done recently knows how much of a minefield that is. So that's very stressful and also going on while I'm trying to get the schedule assembled. It's been a week. I am putting off maintenance on my Volvo which is not great, but it'll get done
Volvo,
eventually.
it'll survive.
It's fine.
Luckily,
it's fine.
luckily your fiance is very experienced in the world of housing, and if I'm
Correct.
blunt, a friggin' genius on the matter. He was quite knowledgeable now on how all that stuff works. Eric had me over to his house to watch the White Sox, which that was the game they won. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
and I got to meet his lovely fiance, and like most of us, she's too good for you, but you're smart enough to know. So yeah.
True stories. Those are very true stories. Also currently going on is my daughter's Girl Scout magazines and nut sales. So if you would like to help out with that, I am happy to provide you the link to that.
Please. Yes, absolutely. Throw that
and-
up. We will throw that in
I
every
will,
show note we have.
I will have that on my personal Facebook page this evening as well. And there is some other big lemons news coming up in the next couple of weeks.
My pearls.
I wish that I could divulge more, but I believe we're waiting on a couple of
Can you give us a category?
samples.
New
It is-
partnership,
Ballet or
new-
racing or promotion.
Uh,
Wow. Okay. So that. All right. Yeah.
yeah.
something totally never done before, like a whole new category of lemons.
It is a thing that people will be able to buy.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
That is a lemon.
an item.
Correct. Something that has been done unsanctioned by us, but with our logo on it before, that is coming to be official. So
I won't guess. I will
Ooh.
wait till we stop recording and then I will guess.
cool.
Corolla. I was Tercel.
Yeah, it's
Tercel.
Tercel. Yeah,
You can buy a Livingston branded Tercel. Holy crap. Where do I sign up? Way better than a Bill Blast Continental.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Well-
that's the next frontier. Really is lemons special edition.
Since Eric can't give us any news, who else has news and notes time?
The National Insurance Crime Bureau has released their annual list of stolen cars in America. And for the second year, the full-size Ford pickup is top of that list. Now, the second most stolen car is the Chevy full-size pickup. By and large, it mimics the most popular cars sold in their time for obvious parts reasons. And there's some interesting insight from Steve De Silva over at Jalopnik, which we've linked that article in our show notes. It seems to hit right about 15, 20 years when the snatchers figure out how to get around those particular anti-theft devices. Across the board in 2020, auto theft dramatically increased. Theories include rental companies kind of cooking their books, people just letting their cars get stolen, and just economic downturn and boredom. This year, 3 new cars showed up on that list. And this is, again, the top 10%. The 2019 Camry, 2020 Corolla, and the 2020 Altima are now the most stolen cars in America, 3 of them. As De Silva theorizes, quote, with 30% of the
Altima.
Yeah, who wants to steal?
That's
an
where
Altima?
I'm going with this,
Like-
man. So
You only
De
drive
Silva-
one because
I'm
they
sorry.
can get you approved.
Yeah.
Nissan, convince me I'm wrong by getting us a press Altima.
No,
for PR.
I don't want one.
No,
I had
no,
one as a
we'll
rental.
walk.
That was the worst car I've ever driven in the last 10
we'll
years.
walk before
Seriously.
we get an Altima. Yeah.
I'd rather
Walk
drive the
anyway,
98
but-
Tercel Lemons edition and poop brown with an automatic than drive
Boom.
an Altima.
And yes.
Who
absolutely.
doesn't want that?
So De Silva theorizes that with 30% of the top theft tractors being modern cars, one thing is clear: the current connected anti-theft measures aren't the deterrent they're cracked up to be. Now, at least in the case of the Altima, and I think all of us agree, I just theorize the owners who have just given up on everything or just
Yeah, they
leave
didn't
it.
lock
They just
it.
they just leave the keys on them.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just
They're driving it to the local establishment that gets everything stolen.
As long as they've got gap
Keys on the
coverage,
hood.
because I think you have to buy the gap. Get approved.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh boy.
All right. Did you watch the Turkish Grand Prix?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
Did
was
you
that not a
notice-
question for me? I'm sorry.
Well,
You can
it's-
answer. It's okay.
Sure. Yes. Did you notice that Ocon never changed his tires?
I
don't-
did.
Yes,
I
I,
don't know
did.
how anybody that watched it wouldn't have noticed.
They've
this because
talked
they
about
said
it like, oh, yeah.
85 times. But anyway, as Owen Bellwood tells us at Jalopnik, the current F1 regulations state in dry running, racers must change tires at least once, but and must use 2 different compounds in the tires of tire. In the wet conditions, these rules are not enforced. Ocon Ocon started on his green intermediate tires and went from 12th position. When the dry line never appeared, he said he's going to stay out on the tires until the end of the race. It didn't pay off, but after the race, he said it was good to take the risk today by going to the end on one set of tires, which you don't see very often. To that end, he is correct. The last time that happened in a full-length race was 1997 when Mika Salo ran the whole Monaco Grand Prix without stopping.
I think because they were comparing Ocon's decision to go without a tire change to Hamilton saying, please don't change my tires. And they said that he was 4 to 6 seconds slower at the end of the race on his effed up tires.
No, they said by the last bit of it, 80 seconds.
80.
Wow.
Yeah,
No, I
he
think it was 80 slower than Hamilton.
Yeah.
But he had slowed down like in sections that much. Anyway.
Well, the
Yeah.
tire had a piece missing out of it.
You could
It
see
looked
the
like someone
chunk.
did a
Yeah.
bite
They
out
were
of it.
absolutely slicks, and then there was chunks missing.
Mhm.
So
Oh well. All right, Huna versus Greg Greg
Yeah,
K.
there he
Greg K. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Greg K. He got us some camera up pics of the new Civic Type R from Honda. Actually, Honda gave them to him of all sources. Not nice. Link is in our notes. If you don't have time to get it there, expect it to look like the current Civic, but more aggressive because it's got flares and diffusers and wangs and stuff.
That's what it needed is more wangs and diffusers and things.
The old one was this should be a little less over the top than the old one because the new Civic in general is toned down. It looks just like a little Accord. That's what it looks like now. Actually, much better. It's nicer than the old one. Anyway, Honda's keeping their signature triple center exhaust pipe for the Type R. They're not talking any specs, release dates, or pricing, but you can probably expect to see one make a run at the Nürburgring anytime soon.
All right.
Despite
Someone going to
everyone
share the
knows,
picture?
Doesn't really matter. Sure. It looks like a camoed up Civic with a wang.
Which honestly, I expect to see that exact spec'd up Type R running around Las Vegas 2 months after the introduction.
Realistically, it's probably going to have some very similar drivetrain to what the current one has. Maybe
I got it. I'll share.
Okay, great.
Here comes. Can y'all see it?
There we go. Yay.
Hey, you're right. It does look a little bit less wanged.
Actually,
current
scroll
generation.
down and look at the back of it and see how much less wang is back there.
this is bad. This is bad podcasting. Can you?
That's a lot of
can you-
wing.
So
Yes.
it's way less obnoxious than the current version.
I
Although I
will
definitely
say
agree
that- go ahead.
That paint job has got to be a wrap. About a month after it comes out, someone will have that.
Yeah. For those of you who are just listening to the podcast, go to Hooniverse and look at the pictures. But it's a bunch of little red, white, and black Honda Civics, kind of all camouflaged on top of each other.
Love to see that for a theme at a race if you're
Yeah,
running
yeah.
a Honda Civic.
Can I say something about the rear wing? It looks totally bolted on. Like that looks like an
Oh, yeah, that is-
aftermarket
that-
piece.
Yeah.
That is
An
the AutoZone
afterthought.
parts counter. Totally.
Yeah.
So did the last one too. So
I thought the last one at least looked like it was attached and
Had
had
body.
body color,
Yeah.
like side streaked, whatever.
well, you don't
Who
know what the
knows?
body color is on this yet. So
You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So TikTok. Eric, how old are your daughter? Right.
9. Yeah.
9. So TikTok or no TikTok?
No.
No TikTok. Okay. My
Eric is
son,
a smart man. So.
the 13-year-old lives on TikTok, and y'all know I love TikTok, and there are some stupid trends out there, but the latest trend is not actually happening. It's just fear mongering. So, or at least that's what we think it is. James Gilboy at The Drive explains the so-called lug nut challenge, which supposedly involves loosening or stealing lug nuts off random vehicles and then hiding out nearby to film what happens when the owner drives away. Yeah, given this is potential for serious damage, the crew at The Drive did some investigation. Their results were not a single video came up with the term lug nut or lug nut challenge when they searched for it. Simply when they did like lug nuts, they came up with lots of mechanics torquing things and complaining about them being over tightened by previous technicians. Problems with swollen lug nuts of Fords, which I had swollen lug nuts once. I took a hot shower. It went away. It's not a problem. Eric, did you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if there were TikToks of mechanics twerking instead of torquing.
Right, I was
sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
I bet that if it's not on TikTok, it's definitely on Reddit.
So basically what this means is when your parents share that beware, there's people removing your lug. To say no, it isn't, and fact check them by sending them over to the drive. Gilboy does caution, this isn't like the headlights off gang initiation or fire drill hoax. This could actually hurt somebody. So, hey, not a bad idea to pull out the torque wrench this weekend and check to make sure everything's all good on your car. Especially if you can't remember the last time you did it, go ahead out there and give it the once over.
Then go climb some milk crates.
Then climb milk crates. Exactly.
Please don't.
Can I just suggest that if you want to have fun on TikTok and you just got TikTok, you're like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
Just
turn it off and put it down and go outside. That's how you do it. Okay. Yes.
Hit the search bar button and look for the sound OSHA, like occupational self. Chrissy, help me out. Occupational safety health. What is it? What is OSHA?
I just like whatever you just came up with. I think you should come up
We're
with
going to go with your version, Jeff. That's what we're going to go
occupational
safety and health Association of America.
It's never an association if it's a government agency. It's an administration.
Whatever. I don't care. There's a great song, Come With Me and See a World of OSHA Violations, and they're the greatest videos ever.
Okay.
All right.
We talked last week. We are actually fully committed to a partnership deal with racingjunk.com. Head over to racingjunk.com. They've got the stuff that you're looking for. So I've been over there playing with I'm on their email list. You can sign up for free. They do have a bonus pay site. You get lots of advertisements and it removes the banners from some of the ads. But just go into Racing Junk this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It showed me on their calendar 35 car shows, swap meets, and meetups this Saturday and Sunday. That's the kind of stuff Racing Junk can do for you. So head over to Racing Junk. If you know you're on eBay looking for a part, eBay's a good place. Head over to Racing Junk. Buy racing stuff from a racer. Why not? If you've got an old car you've got to sell or some parts that some racers could use, put it up on Racing Junk, racingjunk.com. They've got a newsletter, they've got tech, they've got how-to, and they are entered into an absolute media share agreement with your favorite podcast, racingjunk.com.
Tell them we sent you. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Say I got here from Everyone Racers. Yeah. Those guys are awesome.
I don't know where you put that in, but
I don't know.
I don't need
say it just like that.
Come see us at the Racing Junk booth at PRI, and I'm going to try and sneak into the one over here at SEMA. I'm going. I don't know what you losers. I got my press credentials.
I actually think I do have press credentials for SEMA. Upcoming races. Who's got them?
World Racing League is winding down their season with an 8+8 at Hallett in Oklahoma. It's a pretty small race considering they've sold out for the last 5 years. There are 28, count them, 28 cars. 11 of them are very boring BMWs.
Boring.
Yeah, 9 Miatas, no Hondas, 4 Porsches, 1 Mustang, and a BRZ. So they're going to have a nice little track day at Hallett. That's nice. Make sure to give your
and
points
is
back,
Hallett your favorite track there, Rental? Right? You love
Hallett, but
right?
I do love Hallett. I spent years there.
Yeah.
She's still completely in the frame of the camera every time she does that. It's okay. It's okay. We don't mind. You duck down and they completely see you when you duck down.
Like, I have not yet eaten dinner, and I noticed Mental was snacking there. So my wife is going to come in any minute and give me like Taco Bell or something. So
dude, there you go.
There it is.
But no, I taught at Hallett. It's a great track. Yeah. Go there. Have fun.
Recent results.
Results. Okay, Champ Car was at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It may have been a small event, but Saturday's unboring and BMW free podium had a Civic, the Civic of OB Prestige Auto 2 laps over second place. Miata from Milan +2, and rounding up the top 3 was the Maxima of Wheelhouse Racing. That's amazing, actually.
That's a good team name for Champ Car. Elan. It's kind of like a Miata Elan.
Absolutely.
Man, 2 word. Good job.
Sunday's winner. They don't listen to us anyway. So Sunday's winner was a boring BMW in Red Cow Racing, and there were 4 laps over the Milan Miata, and third went to the TSX of Acura for now.
Nice. The completely made up battle of the fast food manager's first new car between BD Machine Works Chevy Cobalt and Cavalier of Car Fab Motorsports went unquestionably to the Cavalier. We suggested last week that the Cobalt should smoke the Cavalier, but I guess it didn't happen. On Saturday, Car Fab was 7th overall, 4 laps more than the 9th place Cobalt. On Sunday, the Cavalier finished 16th, 71 laps ahead of the 17th place BD Machine Works Cobalt. The second Cobalt finished last on both of the days, so it must have been a DNF. Eric, you're a fan of the economy cars from the old General Motors. If I could hand you a Cobalt or a Cavalier right now, which one would you take?
How deep do you want to go down this rabbit hole? Really?
In 3 sentences or less, which one would you pick?
Because
And
we
why?
were talking about the Z24 convertible with those really cool wheels and the
I'd rather have the
checkerboard
head top,
center
but that's
caps.
all right.
Yeah,
That's not the one you'd want to race. The one you'd want to race is the late Cavalier with the Ecotech. But
Of course. I'm
But,
just
you know,
saying, for
Quad
driving on
4.
the street, what would you want?
I'm probably a Cavalier. You can fix it with a big rock and some booze. So
Probably runs on Boone's farm too.
so yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
there's an undrink bottle of Boone's Farm somewhere underneath one of those 2 front seats.
yeah. My favorite thing about the Cavaliers, somebody brought one to a Lemons race, and they just lopped the exhaust off. And it was one with the push rod 2.2 in it.
Yeah,
And it just sounded like industrial machinery, like when you're in a factory surrounded by 6 machines that are running. It just sounded like this incredible whirring noise that was just loud. It was just loud. That's all it was. Didn't matter if they were, whatever the RPM was. It was just the same noise, just louder if they were on throttle, or
There you go.
quiet if it wasn't.
Yep.
Oh,
It's basically the same as we hear from our haggard postal vehicle that goes up and down our
Yep,
streets.
yep,
The
yep,
sound
yep.
of a laboring
LV,
GM
yep,
push-rod
absolutely.
four-cylinder, right?
oh. Now
different motor, same idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lemons was at Gingerman for the Tony Swan Never Say Die Memorial 2021. And to give us that is our favorite 5th host, Eric Rood.
So, what do you want to know?
it's- I'm sorry.
Oh,
Tony,
hey, it's in the thing.
It's in the notes.
Gotta read the thing. So
done
overall,
won
went
what?
to the Boneyard Butcher Saturn Sky Ute thing with Impala V6. They were mostly clean. They only hit one other car, so good job on them. Class B went to Out of Focus, which is a Ford Focus with a turbo on it. And they could go about, it was fast, but they could go about 70 minutes on a tank of gas before
Wow.
they torched it up.
Not a lot of time.
So they kind of had a very narrow margin of error, and they did kind of had a perfect race. It was good to see for them. So they will be in Class A. And Class C went to the Rad Lobster Dodge Stealth of B2 Racing,
Yeah.
Wow.
which was in C with many penalty laps, and kind of a team that's never kept that car alive. So it was
For good
No
reason.
one has ever kept them alive.
Yeah, it was
so
it
it's
was a
not-
legit Class C car. 6G72 is a horrible engine, so good on them. They'll be back in Class B. So I believe they beat out Andy Diderosi's team of high school kids by 1 position. So
Oh.
felt pretty good in a Dodge Stealth, punching down on some high school kids, I guess. So,
And before you start sending them horrible letters, he actually donates constantly to Diderowski's team, and the kids that weren't driving that were on his trailer watching the race. So
Yeah.
he's tight with those guys.
yeah, it was kind of really good example of Lemon's camaraderie. Just people racing against each other, but also kind of cheering for each other, which is good to see. What else? The Buick Rayada won heroic fix for some kind of insane axle swapping that came after one of their ball joints fell off, which happens all the time. I got screwed. Went to the Sky Project. Should probably let the beer settle for a minute.
Do you want us to read a little here, Eric? So you
Yeah,
can
no, I got
burp,
it.
mute your thing. Yeah.
Or just burp straight into it. Come on, we know our audience.
You're right. I should own that. So Sky Racing, Dr. Chuck Severance out of the University of Michigan is a big IT professor, does all kinds of international IT classes, and owns 2 identical-ish Dodge Neons. They look the same. At least one of them has a later motor. It doesn't really matter. They usually bring both cars, blow one up, and then run the other. This time they blew the connecting rod out of the engine, was returned to us still warm, and
But
kind of
track,
poking around.
track safety found it and brought it to us. It was still hot.
They came to us asking some other question, and they were like, "Oh, that's ours," and it's an L-shaped connecting rod, which is great. So they passed tech with their other car and then blew it up 45 minutes later. So they have 2 dead Neons that they killed within an hour of each other. So they got screwed. Mental has this wrong. The organizer's choice was the Flying Pigs Racing Ford Mustang. Guys who have done it right for many, many years and kind of just always been clean racers, but fast and efficient and awesome and fix other people's cars. The judge's choice went to Randy Bish's collective, the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, who were racing Sagi's old Simca 1204.
And that's the first time I think the businessmen raced the Simca.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. And it ran reasonably well. I believe that is no longer a 1204 and it's an 1118. So they lost about 94 cubic centimeters.
it needs everyone it can get, though.
Yeah.
Because that was Spank's Simca before it was Sagi's Simca, before it was Bish's Simca. That is like the triumvirate of like effed up Lemons teams, right? I mean, but effed up in a good way. Like these are the pinnacle of bizarrest human beings you may meet at a Lemons track.
And that car is passed through other hand. Like Chrissy and I drove it for a whole Button Willow race. Mental, it lived at his shop for a month. Like that car is
like 4 months. Yeah, that's how I met Sagi. Yeah.
Let me ask a question. So you have Spank, you've got Sagi, and you've got the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen. What does this graph look like? Is it up and down and up? Is it up? Is it?
I think it's straight down.
What are we talking about?
It's one of those terrible graphs that's like a circle that you say, what asshole put this graph together to show this?
Say, have you
dots? Yeah.
Have you ever been carrying toast across your kitchen floor and it falls with the jelly side down and then you have to pick it up?
Yeah.
It looks like that.
I was trying to figure out what is up and what is down. Like, where's the up?
I mean,
is
you can
crazy
define.
up or down?
You can
It's
define
true.
the graph.
It
It really
You don't know what
depends
the
on what's on the X and the Y axis.
There you
go. Like amount of skin shown at each race, that's gone straight up. Spank is usually clothed. Sagi never really wears a shirt, and Bish, like, he just falls out of his clothes. So that one goes up. Like wrenchability, I'm gonna go the other direction. Like,
but the league pulled this thing and they were literally pouring water out of the boxes of Simca spares and they got that thing to finish a race.
Yeah. More likely to vacuum the paddock for no reason. That's like a straight line than straight up. So
bacon production is definitely
there you go.
It's like flat line up and then like bottom through the graph. Like if there's bacon in the area, it's negative bacon with Bish around.
None.
Yeah.
Love this. That was great. We're gonna talk about the Great Wall Motors incident.
Because we had the regional award, the Kenny Rogers themed Ford Fairmont.
Yes, which was the knew when to hold them and knew when to fold them trophy.
Nice.
Brewster Baker themed Ford Fairmont. Car was built by the I can never remember, University of Northwest Ohio, which is like a technical school. And one of the instructors who helped build the car passed away in the last couple of years. So the car kind of was sitting there for a long time, and some of his cohorts at the university kind of dusted the car off and brought back some alumni to race it, which was super cool. And it has what do you call them? Duals.
Yeah,
So two barrels in a line with like a ram air intake on it on the 302 is pretty rad.
Nice.
Yeah. Homemade ram air that I think they beat out of air conditioning ducting.
Yes,
Something you would buy from J.C. Whitney back in the day.
Yeah.
So which was actually made in some dude's garage in Toledo. So
there's a lot of good stuff out of that dude's garage. I'm just saying.
I mean, what else is Larry doing on a Saturday? So and IOE went to Little Enos Racing and the Ford Tempo, which makes 2 Ford Tempo indices of affluency in a year. So if you want to win the IOE, you should probably bring a Tempo
or a Topaz.
Yeah, but you can't bring it weak. Both of those teams came strong.
Yeah. So the theme was a severe storm spotter. Is some photo that got passed around the Ford Tempo Fellowship on Facebook, which is a great group, by the way, of this fleet of Ford Tempos in like an NWS, National Weather Service, like parking lot. They're all identical. They have these weather stations on the roof. And what clearly had happened is the government said, we'll take all of your cheapest cars that we can get our hands on for the fleet, and then handed 88 horsepower chunks of shit to a bunch of storm chasers, which is exactly what you want around a tornado that you need to get away from.
The first to go airborne.
Yeah, absolutely. So that they won the IOE. They finished 34th out of 80 with a Tempo and it's automatic 2.3. It's a horrible transmission.
And I think they would have had the slowest lap time if the Simca wasn't there.
Yeah,
like their fastest lap time was like next to last.
Yeah, the only other car that was slower than them was the Capristi Boys Chevy Caprice, which was amazeballs. It was a sabotage era Caprice that these guys did, but they chopped the roof about 6 inches. So it had the low roof 305, and they were all dressed up like the Boys.
Every time the wrecker brought that thing by, we just noticed how good it looked.
Yeah. So they did 7 laps, but they already emailed me about a residual value and are telling me that they need a new 305 for it. So that car will be back.
You're good. Yeah.
305 and
put the hottest 305 you could find, buddy. Splurge.
Yeah, pretty much. So that covers most of it. And of course, listener Brett Sloman had an excursion in the Great Wall Motors Volix C20R. So you guys probably know as much about it as I do. So
it's on YouTube. Everyone can do it. We assume whoever that driver is might be not taking advantage of, penalized by the keep your wheels on the ground rule. So sorry to see that.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's enough about that. We can let everyone move.
The upside is Lemons has a new judge.
Yeah. One of the things I will say is I took several photos of the safety equipment in the car, and they had spent a little extra money to go to a really reputable shop and have a cage put in, and it bent the entire car around the cage without deforming it, which was really great to see.
Good.
That's excellent.
So spend the extra money on a good roll cage if you're having somebody put one in your car.
Nice. Oh, listener. Oh, sorry, Chris, you said something?
I just said cool.
Oh, okay. Listener feedback time.
We had some comments on our last episode about trail braking. On Bookface, Scott M said, I got so confused when I started road racing because trail braking is a term used in dirt racing as well, but with a totally different meaning.
Yep. On the tubes, ENP said, this is awesome. I've been in lots of situations where I start trail braking naturally because it felt right, and then scolded myself out of it because I thought it was the wrong thing to do. Like I needed permission to go fast or something. Sounds like someone I know. Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. Hold on to your Baja Blast Mountain Dew that has just been delivered by your by your wife.
It's not purple drink, Jeff.
It's not purple drink. Yeah. We have 2 new iTunes reviews. We go like 6-7 months without an iTunes review, and then we got
we went 12 months. Our last review was a year ago in
just
October.
Saying.
Yay.
The first one was from our good friend and teammate Uncle Dave, which titled it The Right Balance. And he said, the balance of personalities keeps the show entertaining week in and week out.
Oh, you'll get
How
some
nice.
swag once we see you again.
Yeah.
The second one is from Ashley Ian, who titled it "4 Friends with a Car Hobby Beyond Amateur Level." And he goes on to say, E1R has 4 friends who race in low buck amateur racing. I found them via YouTube after Christian, air quotes, mental ward was on a Lemons racing video. It's not their living, but their hearts are in it. Oh, this is so heartfelt. They know their stuff, but keep it real. But have a
Keeping
good
it
sense
real
of humor,
because I'm
right?
keeping it real.
But have a great sense of it's a good sense of humor. If you like cars, not even racing, you will appreciate their podcast, Racing and Lemons. You have to have a good sense of humor. I highly recommend it. The podcast is free and available on numerous mediums. That is a really nice. It's really nice.
Who are
Thank
these
you.
people who are charging for a podcast?
Not
Right.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there are some. There are some. There's
I
a new
guess.
like the
Subscribe
Like
and
the
get it sooner.
Stitcher, yeah.
right.
Yeah, get
there's
it
a
without
couple of 'em.
commercials on Stitcher Premium,
There's a
whatever.
couple of them. Yep. No, we're free here.
All right. We did Lemons iRacing, right? Anybody know anything about it?
I was
yeah.
I was
I was
driving
I was
home.
watching. Yeah, I was watching.
Oh,
The White
yeah,
Sox.
we were watching White Sox and eating pizza. So
There you go. We have no idea what happened in
I
Lemons
think
iRacing.
something happened.
Someone won. It was not the person who came in first.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We did an iRace. Anybody go to that one?
We absolutely did. No, but I set it up
Oh.
and I got reports from our iRacing correspondents. We went to New Hampshire in prep for Hoopty Fest. First was all Formula Vs on the road course, but apparently it was a little tough and they needed a few laps to get grip in them. And Uncle Dave ended up winning that one. Second race, we put various assorted NASCARs, including trucks and 87s and all kinds of things, on the actual New Hampshire mile-long oval. Ended up having a pileup in turn 2 as the starting happens, which happens a lot. But otherwise, it was apparently shaped up to be a good race when Tom Lamino surprised Aaron and ruined it all. So well done, Tom.
Surprise!
about right. Yep. You know, when this person surprises Aaron, it never ruins anything. Chrissy's mom.
I like where you're
My
going.
mom.
that was
I
well
know.
done.
That's
Nice.
great. Cookies are coming. It's
Yep.
almost cookie time.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, I haven't had cookies since Pitt. Oh
my
yes,
gosh.
so
You
happy.
didn't get any at Button Willow? Oh,
There.
it's a shame.
You
No,
guys,
apparently
you guys told me you had a limited stash, and
it's
so
true.
I was
And they,
I was legitimately respectful of that, and you guys
Very
kept
nice.
putting alcohol in my face, so it was great.
here, take this instead.
Fair
They're
trade.
coming. They're coming.
All
Okay.
right. Oh, sorry. I was typing. Is it my turn to speak? Everybody stop for a moment.
Well, or actually,
Well, you-
we didn't assign this to anyone, so we are on to. It has been too long, but our fifth host, our good
Was that
friend,
loud?
our extremely intelligent, number crunching, brilliant Lemons Everything Bagel, Eric is back, and he is here to talk about how much he hates Texas, which we'll mostly agree with that. The 2022 tentative race schedule, the rally schedule. Hell yeah, I'm excited about that Denver rally. And Eric, let's talk about this $1,000 costume contest. What's up with that?
Oh, we're
Where was
so
that at
excited.
Button Willow when literally all everyone else on the screen was in rainbows?
I just want to say, are there any chance for backdating this prize?
Springtime for
Because-
Hitler. That's all we're saying.
Right?
There's a photo that will ruin my political career. And it's not the ones you have.
yeah. So funny story. That wasn't supposed to go out in the email. But yes, it will be happening in 2022.
Let's blame Nick because he doesn't listen.
It wasn't Nick, but it doesn't matter.
It was totally Nick.
Uh,
That means it was totally Nick. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But in any case,
Eric's like, stop talking. You're threatening my job. I'm the one that screwed it up.
yeah. So it is going to be a prize that we still are figuring out the trophy logistics for it, and this is Jay's kind of baby. He thinks that people need to be doing more of this stuff, and I agree entirely.
We agree
So,
also.
so I
it has
think
prompted
I
prompted
think-
a flurry of discussion on our Slack channel on their team today about how we can amp back up to our fun glory days of
yeah, I think
Yes.
that's part of it, and I think maybe doing the bad cop judging of wow, a white BMW. Here's 20 laps.
Nice.
Try
More
harder.
more penalties for crappy themes. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I will also mention that we would have had a much better theme this year, but it was based around the car that crashed in New Jersey. So it became really silly to continue it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make sense anymore.
But yeah, to that, like the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, they came in hard theming. I mean, there was
you
12
gotta say
of them.
theming after that. You have to say theming after that.
But no, theming. They brought a penalty idea. It was all on the French theme. Randy spent the entire time talking with a French accent.
Really,
they had
one.
charcuterie, which was box wine and Lunchables. They had a guillotine.
That's
on
called
the roof.
Pittsburgh charcuterie. I think.
Yeah. They had a guillotine on the roof of the car, and
Nice.
it was they were sacrificing the most capitalist bourgeois person, which was the Dr. Florida man. And when they chopped his head off, alligators came out. It was just layers.
Wow.
Of brilliance. It was
Wow.
So I mean, by the time they were done, there was half the paddock was crowded around there with their phones out. It was fantastic. And that is the spirit of what we're trying to do here.
I mean,
love that.
not even that. There was also the Catfish Camaro with a noodling theme. If you're familiar with
catfish noodling. Yeah, I got that.
Brand new team, first race. It was awesome.
Also, they are Lane Meyer Motorsports, and Promise a Better Off Dead theme is coming soon, which is my all-time favorite comedy movie. So now you know that.
It's easily my top 5. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go that way really fast.
Really fast.
Something gets in your way. Turn.
Chrissy still has that confused look. This is yet another movie she hasn't seen.
Eric, I don't know if you know this,
Back it off your bingo.
but this mountain is 100% pure snow.
That's right. I can't get real drugs in this town. Anyway,
keep your tentacles off me.
Yeah. So that the theme thing is going to be coming back hard next year. Very hard.
We're there
so
for
hard,
you, man.
Look for an announcement on that. We'll have more details on that soon. Also, the rally schedule isn't officially released, but it's out and live. There'll be more information about the rallies.
So what you're saying is that everyone who listens to this podcast should follow 24 Hours of Lemons on social media.
That is correct.
That's a great idea, because you guys put new videos out like every Tuesday and Thursday. They're awesome.
That's correct. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, you can find a new video on the Lemons YouTube channel. And on Mondays, you can usually find a video short that is about a minute long and kind of something little punchy, that single clip that we think is pretty funny. Tom Webb was on it this past week talking about his blown motor that almost made it through a 24-hour race in Houston, and he's covered in grease, and it's just fantastic. So
That's excellent.
Little stuff like that. So on Mondays, so 3 videos a week.
3 videos a week. That's right. Yeah. So let's get back to the schedule here.
Yeah.
The what is online doesn't look like it is as robust as what is in our notes. Are we breaking news tonight, or did I just look too early?
What are you looking at specifically?
It looks the same as what I saw, Jeff.
Never mind.
I copied it from the email. I hope I.
I was saying, is the email more in depth than the website? Because it looked like the website had more tentatives with nothing on it.
The Thunderhill date is actually in the last hour and a half has been confirmed. So that is the actual date for Thunderhill. Sonoma
breaking news. You can only
you're getting this in real time ish. Sonoma is tentative. They have some kind of long-term renter situation that's affecting all of their
Screw
dates.
those people. You're not a long-term renter. Come on.
We aren't renting for 8 weeks. That's correct.
That's true.
Also, NOLA, and then like some of them like NOLA and New Hampshire and Sonoma, the second date. They just don't confirm their schedules until November.
Yeah. I definitely see a lot of the greatest hits here. We're opening in Barber in February.
Yep.
We are closing in Road Atlanta in December, because that's always a great idea. And it has never rained or snowed in December in Atlanta.
Literally never happened.
It did quit doing that when you guys quit going.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
The Gingerman date, by the way, we're trying to swap for the week ahead. It's kind of iffy on whether it'll happen because I'm getting married that weekend. So
Yay.
Congratulations. I mean, we knew you were getting
Fantastic.
married. Just-
in order to have some of the staff there and not stuck.
Oh, because everyone is
hours
going to want to
away,
go to the.
yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
So
They
that's-
actually like you enough to attend the wedding. Is that the idea?
well, I mean, they haven't, RSVP'd yet. So, invitation has to
Depends on
actually
what the
go out.
tickets
But
cost.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
It's a spectator event. It's $400 a head to show up. So, I don't know.
Oh,
Seems
there
legit.
is
I
of
am
course
fascinated to know what that parking lot's going to look like.
yeah.
press cars everywhere.
That's right.
I was
It's-
thinking just the Zimas that were in the park. I
It's-
thought it
it's
was-
actually gonna
instead
be
of
a-
paying the $400, you're going to stand out in the parking lot. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's like a lemons paddock then. It's just people
Yeah.
standing
Right?
around
That's
drinking.
kind of what
in
I
the
was
parking
thinking.
lot.
That's
Yeah.
nice return.
I hear Jay the Kellison is going to be done, and he'll be
Yeah.
driving the Kellison all
Yep.
the way to Chicago.
Yeah.
For the event.
Yeah, actually getting married in Youngstown, Ohio, near where Amanda's from. So
Even
he'll be
more
driving-
exciting.
Yeah, that's another 7 hours from here. So the other thing on the schedule is there's the spring date that is TBA. We're working with a few different tracks that may actually be 2 dates. It may be one. There's 3 tracks on the table. So we're kind of
And these are all Southern regional races.
Yes, they are all south of the Mason-Dixon line. So
Jeff touched on some of the hits because he did. Barber Road Atlanta. The Autobahn race, that is always a great time. That's Mike Gritter's track. It's all mid. If you're considering a travel schedule, look at this because Autobahn is just a great time. That is a marvelous race all across the board. High Plains, it looks like the kind of the standard where you're going twice is one of those going to be a 24.
yeah, the September race, I think, is going to be our standing 24-hour race just because the facility is so well equipped for it.
Mhm.
And it's in the middle of nowhere. So we're not bothering anybody at night except for the drone hunters.
Wait, what's a drone hunter?
Deer Trail, Colorado is famously the town that, declared open season on drones for
They pay a
Oh.
bounty if you shoot down a government. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing government drone.
Got it.
There you go.
Excellent.
All those square states in the middle, I really just don't know anything about them. So that's my problem. So
Yeah,
I
the
did.
Northeast is the same as last year. Essentially.
Yeah.
we got
Why don't we
three.
actually read the months there, Chris? Go ahead and go through
Yeah.
it.
Well, we got Pitt in April 9th, 10th, Jersey in June 11th, 12th, Thompson August 6th, 7th, and New Hampshire in Halloween-ish sometime, but it's a year away. So whatever,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
That'd actually be like, that's like a week closer to Halloween. That's like right on Halloween almost.
That's a legit Halloween race. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Some of the West Coast stuff, March, they'll be at Sonoma, and then they're going to be at Thunder Hill, which if you haven't run Thunder Hill, Lemons runs an even longer track than NASA when they run the 25 hours of Thunder Hill. That's a great track. Saturday morning, about, I'd say 45% of our penalty box visitors will just come in and go, I totally got lost. I had no idea where I was because it's a 5-mile track. It's fantastic. That's a great time. High Plains, which, as Eric mentioned, it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's as a racer, it's a wonderful track. Lots of elevation changes, great stuff out there. I love going to Gingerman. I beg to be on the Gingerman races just because I love the facility. That's a great part of the country. There's a brewery down the street that absolutely loves Lemons racers, and they get all excited. We come in there and the waitresses all ask you if you know Dale because they all love Dale.
Of course they do.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about Autobahn. That is probably one of the smoothest run events. If you watched our wrap-up video, we kind of got bored because the Midwest racers were being polite and Mike Gritter had the whole thing under control, and we started goofing off. That was fantastic. They're going back to National Corvette Museum, which Chrissy, we all raced that one years ago. We loved the track, and now they're running the full track. That's a great time.
Yeah. The feedback I got from the people who are racing was the grand course is just can't miss, like Barber levels of like fun
Yeah.
elevation change.
That is a high bar to set. I'm pretty excited.
Well,
Yeah.
the sinkhole
There's a-
is just
yeah,
it's
that.
unbelievable. It really
Yeah.
is. And when you
Especially-
go on a
Should they actually call it the sinkhole?
Should clarify
Yes.
there's
Yes.
a turn called the sinkhole. Yes.
Yes, you're not actually driving into the museum.
no,
and
but
into
you're
the sinkhole.
it's a sinkhole. It's even more terrifying when you take a tiny scooter on a what do you call it? A razor scooter, a child's razor scooter down it, and you almost endo. That was me. So that's exciting.
Hey, Chrissy, why is it that on the event page it says no razor scooters?
I know.
Why would you think that might be? Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it's a bad idea. We did it at one lap because we
Yeah.
raced it at one lap, and
Yeah.
that's when I
It's
had my razor
tiny
scooter.
wheels and
Oh.
people who think
Oh,
they
yeah.
got it all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
no,
I
no,
love that you're
no.
lecturing the safety professional.
I know,
Right?
I know.
No, I just didn't want
And
to.
we never do anything unsafe in our
No,
paddock.
no.
No.
We
Yeah,
don't bring razor scooters though.
Never-
We're not that dumb.
No,
Never had a rule named with us. Never.
Bring it up.
Jeff mentioned he was bummed because he still hasn't raced Button Willow, which again, it's dusty in the middle of nowhere, but it's a great track. It's a
The
great facility.
atmosphere for that race is always spectacular because there's nowhere else to go. So everybody just-
Nobody goes anywhere.
And
Yeah.
they've got good
States.
facilities. And I mean, this year we had the end of times dust cloud on Saturday, but usually the weather's pretty nice.
you just got to remember the pooping rule, which is
Wave
that's-
your
that
arms.
doesn't happen
Yeah.
Oh,
anymore.
they have
Yeah.
they have
They
switches
replaced them with
now.
oh, they have
Switches, yeah.
switches
They have
now.
switches now. Yeah.
I haven't been there in a few years, but yeah,
Well, we were pleasantly
the timed
surprised.
lights with like a 4-second shut off was
And a sensor that doesn't reach the toilets.
correct.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
so
aimed somewhere.
You have to stick your hands up really high.
The more
Yeah.
the more fun one is the showers, the quasi outdoor showers with just the plastic curtains, which will just randomly blow up while you're in the middle of scrubbing your nether regions. That's the fun part. But it is
No,
it is
not
a
to look. That's the thing. You know that
Yeah.
they're there.
and then
Mhm.
back to Gingerman, which is again it's a good track, of course, New Hampshire, and then come down. You know what? Do it next month, and then do it next year. Come down to MSR Houston, hang out with Sajeev. It's a great time.
Sajeev and Brian Pollock is the 2-man comedy show that could never ever actually happen, but that you need to see in person because they are two of the funniest people with an amazing rapport.
Yes,
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I don't know the schedule off the top of my head this year. Is there anything new? Like I'm looking at this, I don't think there's anything that has never
The-
been run by Lemons, but anything making a return.
You're actually missing a date
Oh,
in October, which is the Ridge. We're going back to the Ridge in October.
Yay.
I totally
Oh,
missed that.
yay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. You talk about elevation changes. That's a great track.
Love that
Yeah.
track.
It's fantastic.
So good.
That's
the Ridge is
the
on my list.
that's the major change. That and whatever is happening in the spring may change, be a change or it may not. So
Yeah.
kind of see how-
So of the 3 tracks that you are looking for, and you can't comment exactly on it, but any of them new, never before seen.
there's 2 that we've run before and 1 that we haven't.
Got it. Cool.
That are on the
That's
table,
very cool.
so.
Ooh.
We won't force you to go any deeper.
until we're
we'll
done
push
recording.
stop,
but
and then
yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
harass
Yeah.
you endlessly.
And let's be honest, it is legitimately a fantastic schedule. It's a lot of racing all over the country. It's really
Mhm.
awesome. I know you guys were kind of sweating that there weren't many southern races, many Gulf Coast races, and it looks like you guys have addressed that. Let's talk about this rally schedule because
Wait, I have one more thing for the schedule. What I
Go
don't
on.
see is any 2 races in the same weekend.
Yeah. No,
You just
instead
decided that's a terrible idea, right?
we've decided to have races on 4 weekends in a row. So 6 of one, half dozen the other. But the
your
2 race
daughter,
thing,
your daughter's going to need something to bring up in therapy.
that's true. That's true.
So mental and what was the other guy's name who did the 2 races in the same weekend?
Derek
Derek.
Steinkamp.
Derek
Derek
Steinkamp, thank
Steinkamp.
you. So no one can like mental and Derek are like the
They're it.
champions
Forever. Yep.
of the 2 races in one weekend.
Yeah.
2 24 hours.
24-hour
24-hour
So
races
I was
in
going to
one-
actually that segues well. Any 24 hours on the schedule? 'Cause right now-
Yeah, the second High Plains is going to be a 24-hour. So
Okay.
Yep. we
September
talked about
10th and
that.
11th.
Well,
Yep.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was.
Yep.
We've
But
kicked around a
bears-
couple
it's
of
worth
other
reminding.
ideas.
It's worth bringing back up again. It's good news. Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick around the horn for the podcast people, not Eric.
Eric is he's the 5th host.
If you could travel out of region for one, what are you interested in traveling out of region for? I'm still NCM. I still have NCM on the bucket list. I know the butt is probably a better party, but I really want to the Corvette Museum.
I want to do Thunderhill. I haven't done it yet, and driving the Thunder Sleeve is something I'd like to try.
I'm
There's
gonna.
only. I'm
oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
No, I'm not giving people skip over Chrissy on the. They're gonna have to earn it.
Darn it. I'm gonna say the Ridge because I want to go back because I feel like I did not get a good experience there because my car was dying. So also I almost endoed a car. So I would like to just have.
You were there
better-
with Spank, right?
I-
That was
I
one of your
was.
Spanks.
Yes,
Was that
I-
the Onslaught, Class C Onslaught?
No,
No.
that
Again,
was just
no.
that was the one that Chris won in the America Iron Man.
Yes.
Oh, when you Iron
Yep.
Man the American.
We got the
Yeah.
America to 12th overall, 1C.
Yeah, but I was in the Mini that was dying the whole weekend. So one of our other teammates.
If you guys want to drive British stuff out there, hopefully the border's open. You guys should race with Sean Windrum sometime.
I know
Oh,
they already
we had
already
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
claimed because they said the border was open. I think there was a thing that they
They-
posted around there.
Chris and Chrissy don't want to drive British stuff.
No.
They just like hanging with Spank.
Yeah,
like,
well,
it
Spec
was-
and
It was
yes.
not about the
And
car.
Wyndham.
It was about Spank.
Wyndham
Yeah.
is another one of
Oh,
those
they're-
epic.
So that whole
They're-
group is great.
There are BFFs.
They're
They
wonderful.
are.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah. I feel like Gingerman also is one of those that I feel like I should just do because
Have you not?
Bill-
Have you guys haven't been to Gingerman?
No, Bill tells us Gingerman is fantastic.
It's always just a
it's-
little too far, like, or it doesn't line up with one of the other races, and we just don't go.
Yep.
It doesn't look like much on paper, but you get out there in a car and it gets a lot harder as you start doing it, and yeah, don't isolate that, please. Anyway,
We don't have that technology.
good.
I hold a freaking speaker to the microphone when I play the music. You think I have the ability to like separate
Yeah.
your voice from the rest
Fair,
of us?
fair.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
but
Yeah, that would be one of those races where you guys could load up either the bourbon or the wagon, buy a couple of seats with a ish team, and then just roll out there, sleep at the track. You'd have a great time.
yeah, it gets real dark there. You can see all the night sky and everything. It's
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah, it's 674 miles from here, and about that's non-towing. So that's why it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's
so
further
in
than
the
CMP,
wagon,
if
it's
you
like
wanna
4
CMP,
hours.
dog.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like NCM. NCM is probably just a little too far for us to tow. So I would probably need to go with another team.
Yeah, I have not. I've worked Sonoma, haven't driven Sonoma, and then ORP and the Ridge. And then if I do that, I get to like that Anton level of everything is old hat to me. Yeah.
All right,
Definitely.
let's talk
And-
rallies.
NCM is
sorry.
750 miles from our house.
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
so we did that in
Yeah.
the Mercedes, and
It's
Didn't take
probably
that long.
it's probably enough to it's close enough to drive, but not close enough to tow.
yeah, it's a long tow.
Yeah,
So-
750 actually. That might not
So-
even be driving.
So the rallies.
rallies. Let's
Yeah.
talk rallies.
This is
Let's do the
I'm
rallies.
excited about the rallies.
there's the a couple of the classics, but you guys have done some amazing. This is all like some new stuff, and you've added 3 start and end at the same point rallies, which are awesome. So if you can't get a lot of time off from work and you're not into the racing thing, you can show up in one of these cities, do the rally, and then you're back in the same city. This is fantastic. I am so geeked about particularly the Denver to Denver. I think I might actually try and talk Vicky into this one.
Yeah. And another thing that we're kicking around and just haven't kind of found the time yet to write the rules for it is to add a class for rental cars. So that if you wanted to, you could fly in,
Oh.
do a rally, and kind of you'd have your own prize. And I haven't quite figured out the calculus of it, but I mean, like there's
Turo. You can
there's
get the
definitely
C3 Corvette on Turo.
a scale of rental car companies, from Hertz down to Rent-A-Wreck, down to Turo, down to Jerry at the mall,
Guy on Craigslist.
yeah. And there's some points, and then mileage and stuff. If you have a 50,000 mile rental, you're kind of rolling the dice, number of mismatched tires, things like that. But I have to codify that. But
that is wonderful.
That I think that would be something we could do that would make this pretty palatable to people who maybe don't want to prep a car but want to show up and have the fun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Everyone's freezing cold.
Yeah.
The perfect thing to do is to drive from Alabama to the Keys.
That's right. Well, it's not the Keys. That's the best part. Is it's Cedar Key, which is like halfway up the coast. So, and I don't know
in the middle of the Gulf there.
I don't know that much about it other than it's halfway up the coast and it's north of Tampa. So it's got to be really good in a lemons kind of way. It's not Key West and it's not Miami Beach. It's the more reachable place. What I've seen of
Panama
it
City with more drunken teenagers.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. So the rally is going to go from Mobile to Macon to St. Augustine and then back across Florida to Cedar Key.
Macon, Georgia, home of the Risque Cafe, where you can have your breakfast served to you topless 24 hours a day.
Great.
I'm gonna make some notes here.
Insert blackjack joke here.
Yeah. So this basically arose from a conversation with Jeff Stobbs that was like, we've never really gone super deep into the South, like, Alabama, South Georgia, and how bad could it be? I mean,
it's faster.
Yeah.
Well, we always did that with the Bay Rally because it went down to New Orleans.
Yeah.
So we drove through some fantastic
just
southern
nowhere
hospitality.
That was West
fried.
Virginia and North Carolina. We are just holy crap. Where are we? Kind of roads.
In my 73 Lincoln Continental, we stopped at I think it was an Arby's, or no, I think it was a Carl's Jr. And my brother opened the door and hit the person next to us and like dinged it. And then like the guy came out, or the woman came out and yelled at us, and we totally admitted it and traded insurance information. Like a week later, the insurance company calls me and they were like, this happened in Georgia. And I was like, I wasn't in Georgia. And then they're like, well, the address here is this. I'm like, all right, I was in Georgia. I had no idea.
Like a Carl's Jr. to be memorable. So,
fair.
This other one, the Denver to Denver. And this is, I imagine it's some of the high points with the hot tub Lincoln last year.
Yeah. So interestingly, Brett Holdaway, who, if you know the Colorado racing group, he's raced, he built the Marlin,
which lives with Corey now.
Yeah. And he's a guy who owns Vegas and a Datsun. Actually, I think his brother owns the Vegas, but he's got a Datsun 510. It's super crappy.
The Holdaways are quite a group.
Yes.
Correct. All three of them. If you know Jan Cole also.
Yep.
But
Jan's the best.
So great family. But Brett had helped run the first Rocky Mountain Breakdown Rally out of Denver with Jeff Stobbs, and asked if he could write one. So he wrote this fantastic Four Corners rally. So Denver to Santa Fe to Flagstaff to Moab and back to Denver. And
oh my God, that is so mean.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty brutal and will be a very long rally through some of the prettiest parts of the United States. So,
and the altitude
yes,
of that.
Correct.
Like you think Denver is high. Denver might be the lowest city on that list.
Yeah. And it's in April. So there will be snow at some point, but I think we're going to try to go around all of the seasonal roads, of which there are many. So we probably won't cross the Continental Divide a ton, but like last time we did this, you cross the Continental Divide like 6 times in 3 days or something. So it's not quite as intense that way, but it'll be a long rally.
And that's one of those, hey, fly in, buy a car. What could possibly go wrong?
Totally. Yeah. We have the Rust Belt Ramble, which is coming back. We're going to go from Detroit down to Dayton and then over to Pittsburgh and up to Buffalo. So kind of making 3 sides of a square through just the most Rust Belty parts of the Rust Belt. The California rally is going to be in Sacramento, going up to like the very northeast corner of California where nobody ever goes, which is like the land of volcanoes and stuff. Super cool. I think I am going to set aside time for myself to go on that one, and then out to the coast, so through all the redwoods and stuff.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And then back to Sacramento, and trying to set up something at the California Auto Museum at the start with Alan Galbraith, who helps do stuff for them.
Yeah,
and
Alan's
things like
fantastic. 24-hour. Excuse me. What does he do? The
Concours de Le Mans.
Concours de Le Mans. Yeah.
He's also judged a couple of the West Coast races. Great guy.
Yeah, great
And
guy.
he ran the foliage, didn't he? Did he run
Yes.
the foliage rally? Yeah.
He did. Yeah,
Which is the next one.
that's right. So earlier this year than we did a couple of years ago, and not leading into the New Hampshire race because I want people to go on this one who didn't get the chance to. And it kind of, my plans for that rally totally did not come together a couple of years ago because of COVID. It was supposed to be this rally where we do awards ceremony at the potluck on Saturday night, and everybody gets to see what the lemons party is like. The lemon party. I'm sorry.
That was when we fell in love with the El Camino that had the stacks.
Yes.
Yes, that was a great car. And the
but,
Libertarians ended up buying that other Cadillac.
They
It
bought
was
the
like,
Fleetwood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that rally's
Half-dance
going to go
daily
out
driver
to.
now.
No, the Imperial was my favorite, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. So that rally's going to go Boston to Albany to Burlington, Vermont, and then back over and down. So, and
I feel like you've chose a terrible city for lemons people because we like to drink, and I don't know if Boston's that friendly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, Burlington either, right? They just isn't that like more
There's no breweries there at all.
Yeah.
Is there more
Yeah.
breweries?
Not any of them. I think it's dry town. That's what I hear.
Well, we threw
Well, they-
Albany in there just to make it suck somewhere. So-
Well, they drink because they're sad. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
difference.
right. That's right.
I'm trying to figure out which one to do because like that's the point of having it. Like I got
Wow.
this Corvette.
We
And I
didn't
gotta-
even get to the long one yet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep
Yeah.
going.
The long one is one that Jeff Stobbs has wanted to do for a few years, which is the Great River Road. It's the Mississippi Road. It's actually two. So you can cross and, it goes on both sides of the river for most of it. So we're starting in NOLA and then going up to St. Paul, neither of which is the actual terminal, but if you wanted to go to like the mouth of the Mississippi River, it's like a 3-hour drive from NOLA on these tiny little 2-lane roads. So it's a little much. We wouldn't actually be able to fit it in 5 days, basically, but it is a 5-day rally. So NOLA to Vicksburg to Memphis to St. Louis to the Quad Cities and then up to the Twin Cities. So
That is, which if you're a music nerd, there's some fantastic spots to see along that.
Everyone raise your hand who has been to the Quad Cities.
Oh, wait. Oh,
really?
wait. Is that in Iowa?
yeah,
It's-
Davenport,
and
Davenport, Illinois. Okay, wow.
yeah,
I'm surprised.
Moline, Rock Island, and I can never remember the fourth one.
Yeah, because there is no
Burlington, maybe?
fourth one. You ask everybody, and they're like, and the fourth one is, and they all have something different to say. Yeah.
East Moline. No.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
that's the rally calendar.
So
And-
almost everything on the calendar is actually shorter than shorter days. I see some like 3-dayers mostly is the dominant here, right?
Yeah, we're trying to go to long weekends, Friday to Sunday, just because it's easy for people's lives. You don't have to take
Yeah.
off an entire week to do a rally if you're going to do one. The Four Corners rally is 4 days just because it kind of fits nicely. He sent me like a 3-day one, and it was like, yeah, you're going to be in the car for 17 hours. So not so much with that.
Yeah.
And then 4 days, Four Corners made sense.
And I beat on this a lot in the iRacing thing. And I talk to people about this that come by Lemons races that aren't racing. If you dig the culture of Lemons, but just racing, not your jam, this is glorious. One of my favorite people on the planet is actually, I can't remember his name, but from Fort Kickass down in Dallas, Texas.
Oh yeah. Andy.
Thank you, Andy. And Andy's just not a racer, but he's a brilliant mechanic and he has a great time and he always finds something weird and wonderful person to hang out with. So if you want to dip your toe into Lemons culture, or maybe you want to do this, but you've got dogs or family, this is it. Lemons Rally, you get all of the Lemons experience without having to put on a fire suit, unless you're driving Jeff's Lincoln Continental, but that's a whole different world. But it's rallies are highly underrated. You do one and you're going to get addicted. I love these things.
Yeah. I think we've got them to where it's kind of the right mix of social and adventure. And I think that's really what it's all about.
That's good.
So then you can
Absolutely.
talk to everybody at the end of the day about all the awesome stuff you saw or cool places you broke down and
Yeah,
all that stuff. So
Yes.
When we used to run the Babe Rally, the disappointment was that there was no parking lot party
Right.
in New Orleans because it was a city.
Yeah.
And you didn't get to hang in the parking lot and talk about everything that you saw with all of your rally compatriots.
Yeah.
So,
totally get
awesome.
that.
We got to
All right,
find
Chris.
one of these to do this
Yeah,
year because I've got this Corvette. I'm going to take my buddy on a road trip in it because what else are we going to do with this stupid Corvette?
Yeah.
I think I got to find something, but I think it'd be fun if we made it a little bit more of an old OG 3-pedal mafia rally experience. Like Chrissy and Allison could come out and something.
Jeff, how you feeling about Boston? We can,
Jeff,
we
I
can
think-
find something really stupid.
I think Jeff needs to get his international running and take that with his brother.
Oh
Ooh,
man, that is a
Mike drop.
throwdown.
That
But
just
you have,
happened.
but you have a year to
Bam.
do it, right? So it's not till next September. You have the whole year.
Yep.
September 30th to October
Wow.
2nd is a potential date that I could get away. You know what I mean? Like
Hashtag Jeff fix the
Yeah.
international.
the July date, the August date's kind of close to the race, so that might not
The
happen.
Rust Belt Ramble. I don't know. That would talk about an international on a Rust Belt
but-
Ramble.
oh,
Many points, I
Ooh.
will say that. Dead
Yeah.
brands get lots of points.
yeah, it's a 1965 International Harvester pickup truck, 2-wheel drive.
I feel like you're making Eric a little verklempt.
I think
Mm.
this is something we got to try to do.
Yeah, I'm down with old school 4 or 5 3-pedal mafia. Go back to the beginnings, how this entire ridiculous journey started. Rallies.
And thanks to the Asphalt Adventures rally, my wife has actually enjoyed a crap can rally and has some of the SCCA stuff we've done. So this could be a multiple Wakeman team.
Absolutely.
go.
Right now, I'm looking at that Denver to Denver thing, and I've got a ridiculous Porsche in my front yard, and the dogs will all fit in the back of it. Yeah. So
Who's the U-boat commander? That's all you got to remember, Eric.
That's right.
Who's the U-boat commander?
there's a,
Fantastic.
there's a party tonight. You can find his name under the student directory under Donnelly. Yeah. Pass the word.
There you go.
All right. What else do we have to say about the rallies or the races or anything? Anybody got a random baseball question for Eric? I don't want to wrap it up until we have everything we need.
I think we're good. Looking forward to it. Another good year.
Yeah,
All right.
I do have one other idea for a rally, but I'm not ready to go public with it. So
All right.
We got to drop that.
So there
Can't
might
tell
be
you.
an added date.
So you should follow 24 Hours of Lemons Rally on Facebook and other
Yep.
social media.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it.
it would be different format. So it would be something we would try out. So
Interesting.
mental
Uh,
knows, but
If you
We'll
ever
talk
want to
off air.
do if you ever want to do a actual TSD,
I do.
I could be doing that.
Very
I
cool.
could be very helpful in that.
Even if you just toss
process.
it in for one day of one of them, just to
Oh, that's
Make it
That's a
brilliant.
different.
great
Yeah.
idea.
Yes,
Great
that
idea.
is brilliant.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
So there's an app now that does TSD that would make it way easier
It like makes
on
it.
a
Fun.
cross country. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
no fun.
No. It
We
makes
demand
it,
no.
tulip
So you don't
design.
need checkpoint
you
people
don't
sitting
need
there.
checkpoint people
Oh,
with
yeah,
clocks
yeah.
who know how to do it.
Oh.
The
We-
phone
gotcha.
itself will do the TSD stuff. And like my father runs TSD rallies, and one of the problems he has is getting checkpoint people, and
Right.
you have to design the rally so it does loops so you can use the same checkpoint and people can move checkpoint. And he used to be able to get like 10 checkpoints per day, and it was like 3 different crews and you'd see him each 3 times. Now he does like 45 checkpoints because they're virtual.
Gotcha.
So it's
Interesting.
we could talk. You got my email. Let's talk.
All right.
All right.
I think we're good. It's a great schedule. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, exciting.
Seriously, thank you, Eric. Glad to be here.
All right. Are we ready for on the spot?
Yes.
You want to yell on the
Yes.
spot?
On the spot.
For those of you listening at home who are new to the channel, because you don't know who we are, but you tuned in to hear Eric and the schedule, because I'm sure that's absolutely happening. On the spot is
Eric has a posse. We
That's
know
true.
this.
On the spot is a question that someone is completely unprepared for, and we are all going to be unprepared for it. And it only happened because a text message came in as we began recording from other podcast host Bill Fisher from the Garage Heroes in Training.
Is that the same Bill Fisher that contributes to Ross Bentley's speed
I don't know how
secrets?
that happened, and I refuse to admit that he's writing for Ross Bentley right now. Good for you, Bill. Congratulations, because
It's
you're
a
going to
great
be the
article.
first person to hear
You
it.
actually
Yeah.
should read that last piece he wrote. It's really good.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So Bill Fisher texted, so listener question for your guest. When we do the year-end calculations for car of the year, pause Bill Fisher's voice and back to Jeff's voice. There's car of the year? That's like a thing?
So we do
I've never heard of this.
we do
And
a
I pay
points.
attention.
I have.
All right, so we do a points championship.
Yeah.
We
Driver
do
championship.
driver championship. We do constructor championship, which is just the most points.
The
So it's always
deconstructor,
BMW.
I thought.
So,
Yeah.
Whatever, who cares? We do the real constructors championship, which is
Not
subjective.
BMW.
We do
yeah.
a deconstructors championship, which is also subjective, and we do the Coppi di Bondo, which is the
team that did the best stuff. So yeah, so here it is. So Bill says when we do the calculations for car of the year, it seems unfair that several cars place high because of their sheer number of entries. Obviously, he's talking about BMWs. It would be more fair if the results were normalized by the number of cars that enter. For instance, if an E36 has the most wins or top 10s, etc., divide by the entries that actually enter the race and do not win, and see if it actually has performed better than a car. Fucking engineer is suggesting Eric Rood does math.
You
Minimum
do know
5
how
entries
Eric.
per
You do know how
Eric,
Eric started
like,
this. back
haven't
in
you
the
done this
day.
before? It's
Yeah.
Not
exactly
opposed
It's
to
like
math.
a website called the Rusty Hub or something.
All right.
That's right.
So-
That's right. So do we think this is a more fair way to pick the car-based awards? First to Eric, and then we'll go around the horn on how we feel about the year-end
All right.
awards anyway. Go ahead, Eric.
I have thoughts.
Go ahead.
Please.
So for starters, fair is stupid in racing. There's no point in fair. I mean, if that is your measure, I don't know why you want to race. There's no measure of fairness in any kind of
No,
racing.
no.
We do our best to make it entertaining and give people chances, but it's never fairness is. That's why everybody cheats. That's why everybody cheats in every form of motorsports.
Us included. We're
Yes.
going to freely admit right now.
I would be disappointed in you if you
Yeah.
didn't cheat.
Yeah.
It's just the way that this goes. And Bill cheats too, and that's fine. That's how it goes. Now, to his point, I have done calculations of this
I am not
Ilk.
surprised.
Let's say
Eh,
ilk.
ilk.
Yeah.
And really there's a million ways you could do it, and you could do it in very complicated ways. And I did it in the simplest way, which is just compare a car against the average. So if, for instance, the winner does 300 laps and the average lap total is 200, then they have gone 1.5
100
times.
more. Yeah.
Yeah,
1.5. Okay.
Yeah. So then, it's a 1.5. I called it the domination factor. If you really want to go into this.
Oh.
So then you-
Oh.
So I normalized, or not normalized this. I averaged the domination factors relative to the field for all of the cars. And I've done this a few times. I only published it once because I didn't have anywhere to publish it eventually. But anyway,
Oh.
when I did it,
Are you telling me the
Okay.
Rusty Hub is like not a thing anymore?
yeah, I haven't really published anything on it. But
Oh.
I did it like 7 years ago, and it turned out the Volvo 240
Yeah.
is the car that does the best compared to the average lap total. Doesn't win a lot of races, but it's out there and it runs. And that was kind of the conclusion you can
And
draw.
usually does pretty well. Doesn't break
Yeah.
fast enough to do well in those top 10, top
And
20s.
people that race Volvos tend to be Volvo nerds.
Yeah.
people don't
become them
go
quickly.
Yeah. People don't go, oh, let's just grab a Volvo. It's Volvo. People like, oh, we're totally going to race, and no one owns like one Volvo. Everyone has like four.
Right.
And let's be clear that seat stealing bastard Randy Probst does not actually bring his Volvo. Thank God.
So that's once he did it once
because it keeps breaking. It
Correct.
never, he had like sponsors go through, completely redo that thing, had this highly polished film. It made it like 10 laps into the next race.
Yeah.
There you
go. The short answer is I've done something like that. It's something I did because I was interested in it. It is way too complicated for any kind of actual,
because like a baseball nerd, you had to bring all the money ball to the table and yeah.
I can't remember. The top 5 was like Volvo 240, like V8 Lexus, Mercedes 190.
That's right. Yes, because we hadn't blown up a ton of those things yet.
Yeah. Now in the 190s, that must have been years ago, because the 190s
it was
fallen off the face of the planet.
Yeah. There was one team that kind of had it right, which you guys know them.
The spaghetti. No, that was not
RC Spiders.
RC Spiders. That was it. Yeah.
And then I think Miata was 5th or something like that. But
I bet Miata would do a lot better these days, I think.
Yeah, they're reliable. Yeah.
I would argue they would be handicapped by the masses of people that have brought them and not prepared them properly and blow them up well under the average.
True.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so around the horn, what do we think Bill has a good idea, a terrible idea, or just reflections on the year-end awards in general?
It's a terrible idea. There's no fairness in racing. He just wants to have the best Isuzu Ombre around.
Right.
Which he does.
He does. Sure. Yep.
Yeah, but the domination factor wouldn't be that huge.
It's over average. It's over 1.
Yeah.
Over 1 is over average.
Hear that, Bill? You're above average. Well done.
Go ahead, Mitchell.
Okay. My thing is everyone, and this is one of the unique concepts of Lemons versus your other series, is Lemons is still both on a participant and execution level, a personality driven enterprise. Now, as Eric said, it is an attempt to be fair, but the attempt to be fair is not to give everyone a chance to get a trophy. It's to give everyone a chance to genuinely enjoy themselves. So when you start introducing numbers, people will start looking for absolutes. And the reason so many people always want that absolute is they want to know exactly where that line is and they can go right to that line. And so I would only be in support of it if somebody like Eric, who has an odd passion for the enthusiast of this series, were to do it, because they would factor in the almost unquantifiable aspects of the things that we do, like the McCluskey family folks that showed up with that god awful Focus at Autobahn. But how much fun did they have? And they got like 3 hours of sleep, and then the shredded sheets, and just, you've got to factor all that in there. And there's maybe not always a numerical concept to that. So whoever's going to be doing that equation has to factor that in.
I agree.
Yes.
Chrissy, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
I didn't have my hand up.
Can I throw one thing in there real quick?
Please.
When people talk about fairness in racing, what they're really talking about is getting advantage. And that's what that means. I want it to be fair means I want the scales to be tipped in my favor. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So fairness is a foreign concept to motorsports. Anyway, carry on.
Go ahead, Chrissy.
I'm meh. Who cares about winning? We go to have a race. We go to have fun, and I don't. It's fun to try to tip the scales and whatever. I think it would make more of an impact for series that I'm thinking of, all of the reporting that we do for other series that have swing a whole lot further ways with a certain kind of car. So maybe that average would be, so when we say there are 22 cars and 11 of them are BMWs, I wonder if the data might be a little bit different when you have that small of a number of fields and different kinds of cars, if that's what you're looking for. Meh. That's what I say.
All right. Here's my proposal. It's better than Bill's, and it will make you actually suggest that Eric do the math.
Because
What
he's not
if-
busy or anything.
Right?
What if the top 5 domination factor cars immediately receive penalty laps for the next season?
Amanda Tully's gonna find you and beat you.
That's
with Reese.
right. You know exactly what I'm saying. I'm tired of getting beaten by freaking E36 Amanda Tully and all of those other things. I've driven them. I know how cheaty they are. And damn you, E36.
The one on our team is cheaty too. Come on.
Yes.
We know exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well. All right. Eric, do you know what we're doing next week?
Wow. Getting ready for New Hampshire, I assume.
You're right.
Exactly.
Which
All right,
Eric,
Game show.
Eric unfortunately will not be there because he loves his child and doesn't want her to end up in
Oh,
therapy.
that's good. No.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah. So next week's show is the New Hampshire preview show. Chris, would you like to correct my pronunciation on any of that?
It's New Hampshire.
New Hampshire
Mhm.
preview.
Good.
Yeah. Eric, thanks for being here, man. You were
Absolutely.
It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Thanks for having me.
We didn't need to have you here when we weren't racing, and the whole COVID thing. We're like, what the fuck's Eric gonna talk about?
Oh.
GM, how we make them? I don't
Okay.
know. It's-
You want me to talk about how we make them? I can do that. That is
Yeah,
a thing
you-
I can do.
You're welcome to the show anytime.
Oh,
Jeff's
yeah.
Jeff's
It's a
position
special
might be in a
bonus
little
episode.
jeopardy after that.
No, we do love you, Eric. And I didn't even get to say, you suggested you came from Detroit today. So I'll have to work that in next time. Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, just like those other people did, and we'll read it because we're pimping like that. If you hated us, give us 5 stars. Tell us why. If you're watching on YouTube, right down there in the doodly-doo, just type right to us. We'll type right back to you. Oh, somebody's sharing a screen. Oh, Mental and his sexy pink pants. That is fantastic. Mooshlong Brewery, liveried Jetta,
He's got
but it is
all the
not
swag.
pink and black.
Yeah.
It's not a pink and black Jetta. You can email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can text us 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. YouTube, Facebook, Everyone Racers, even Reddit. Eric, do you know we have a Reddit?
Did not.
/E1R. There it is. Check it out. I think I'm one of 3 people who have been there. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless it's the Mooshlong one. Then just keep the one that's got the moose toe up. I don't know what that is.
Good. That's a good one, Jeff.
All right, I'm out.